Welcome to episode 3 of my chord construction series. I had all kinds of plans for this lesson. I drew up all kinds of charts and had all these details in mind, and as I walked the dog this morning, I came up with, I thought, was a much better idea, and one for which I have absolutely no preparation and no charts at all. So I'm just going to wing it, but I think it's going to be really good, and I think it's going to be really important. So one of the things you hear from people teaching guitar a lot is the importance of learning the fingerboard. And I don't disagree with that. I think it's a good idea. But when you're dealing with chords, I think it's actually more important to understand the voices that make up the chords that you're playing than it is to know the fingerboard. That gives you a lot of power. If you know what voices you're playing, it leads to a roadmap in many, many directions that you can change the chord. So I'm going to go through that with some really simple ideas. So I'm going to just bar the neck at the 8th fret, which is C. Turn the volume up a little. Okay. So if I just bar across, what I get is basically a minor chord. I get the 1, the 4 or 11, the flatted 7th, a minor 3rd, the 5th, and back to the 1 2 octaves higher than at the bottom of the chord. So if I know that, then I can ask myself, where can I go from any of these notes, any of these voices? All right, so there's a minor 7th chord. I'm leaving out the 2 string, the 2nd string. I'm playing the other 5. And so what I get is 1, flatted 7th, 3, 5, and 1. So here's where we can go. I said this is the flatted 7th, so what is a semitone below the flatted 7th is a 6 or 13, so I would get this. All right, there is with the 7th, with the 6th. Okay. So now, what else can I do? Well, here I said that's the 5th. If I go down 2 frets from the 5th, I get the 4th, which is also the 11th. So if I play the rest of the chord the same, I get that. That's a minor 11. There's the minor 7, there's the minor 11. Now what if I go the other direction on that string? So that's the 5th. If I go up 2 frets, I get the 6 or 13. All right, so how about if I take the high C, which is the 1, and I want to go in different directions from there. If I go up from the 1 2 frets, I get to the 2, which is the same note as the 9. So I would get, now if I add the 13 I just had from my previous change, I get this. Now you'll notice I haven't mentioned notes yet. All I've mentioned is voices. And that's the beauty of this, is what I'm playing here, I can play at any fret and get the same results. So let's keep going here. If I raise the 3, I said I have a minor 3rd, so if I raise it a semitone, I now have a major 3rd. I'll leave everything else the same, so I still have that flatted 7th, which gives me a dominant chord. All right, now that opens all kinds of new doors. I said that's the 5th. What if I raise it a semitone? Now I have a 7 sharp 5. If I raise that another semitone, I have a 13. If I raise that another semitone, I have a flatted 7th, dominant 7th. All right, if I go a string up to the 1 again, there's the 1. So now that's just a straight 7th chord. If I raise it 2 frets, I'm going to have the 9. All right, if I go up another 1, I have a sharp 9, which doesn't sound very good because of what I have in between. So what if I take the 5 again and I go up 3 frets? So now I have a flatted 7th and a 9th. So now what I have is a sharp 9 chord. All right, now let's get very Lenny Bro on this. Lenny actually wrote an entire column about this one chord. I'm going to go back to playing just my dominant chord. I'm going to raise my 5 a semitone. So now I have a 7 sharp 5. I'm going to take my top note and raise it 3 frets. So I'm going from the 1 ostensibly to the minor third, which also happens to be the same note as the sharp 9. So what I would now have is a 7 sharp 5 sharp 9, which is a beautiful chord. I play it way too often. But again, I got there only because I know what voice I'm playing, and so I can figure out what voice I can move to. All right, so we'll go back to playing. There's just the 7th chord. There was the 5. What if I move down on the 5, a semitone? So now I have a flat 5 or sharp 11. Okay, now we'll go back to the 3rd. So I'm playing just a straight 7th chord. I said that's a flatted or minor 7th. Well, if I raise that semitone, now what I have is a major 7th chord. All I did was say, okay, there's the flatted 7th. What's a semitone up from the flatted 7th? Is a major 7th. All right, so now we have a major 7th. Now, looking at this one, the 5. Okay, so if I go up 2 tones from, 2 semitones rather, from the 5, I get a 6 or 13. Leave the rest of the chord the same. Now I have a major 13. Here we had a 1. If we move it up 2 frets, we have a 2, which is the same note as a 9. Now suddenly I have a major 9 with a 13 on top. Actually, a major 13 with a 9 on top, sorry. So, you see where this is starting to go. If I know the voice, I can move the voice. If I can move the voice, I'm creating a new chord. I mean, I have no idea how many variants of these chords I've already played, and my hand hasn't moved. We're still working off the same bar. There are many more. You can keep going for a long time doing this. And if you do it again, down here, start at, here's a C, except now we're starting at the 2nd string, so what we have is the 1, the 4 or 11, the 7, the flatted 7, but then we have a 9, and we have the 5 on top. And if you know that, then again, you can start moving those voices. And every time you move the voice, you've just increased your chord repertoire. And you've started to learn the movement that can be had by simply shifting voices. But in order to do that, you need to know the voices. So that's pretty much it. We've gone through minor, dominant, major, and I've shown you a 2nd position that you can do this from. This is where you start to get to explore on your own what sounds good to you. You know, I wanted to add this comment about music theory. Music theory is not about rules. Music theory is just really a description, especially the way chords are formed. It's just a description of how things stack together. How you use that, how you alter that, what sounds good to your ear is really entirely up to you. And that's one thing you're going to find from this exercise. You're going to find combinations of notes that sound right to you that may not sound right to somebody else. And that's entirely valid. Chord theory is not there to set rules for you. It's just there to open some paths that you can explore. The only one that gets to set the rules is you. So what this does, chord theory gives you a basic set of colors, and then you get to choose how you're going to blend those colors, how you're going to mix those colors, which color goes next to the other color, and only you get to decide what sounds good to you. There are no rules stopping you from doing anything. So that's it for today. We're going to cut it off right there, and hopefully this is going to give you some food for thought and a direction to explore. See you next time.